Already in the building. Good to see you guys again. We here for the second day. Today is February 1st. We'll be reading from pages 241 to 242. I'm sorry, from 241 to 243. And we ended on 241, so I think we only had like a couple more to go from yesterday. Continuing on this timeline journey. I appreciate everyone that's back. Shayara, peace. Mama Mia is our co-host today.
Peace.
Say what's up to the people, Mama Mia. Oh, you on mute.
I didn't know you was gonna put me on the spot. Hey, everybody. Yes, co-host, and I got a PDF version, which I will get a link and put in the chat in case anyone needs it. And so if Ajman, if you could allow me to share my screen, I'll share so people can see what's up.
Yes, give me 1 second and I'll do that. Today's check-in real quick. Your name and one thing you would like to see change in your community. Go ahead, Raquel. You want to kick it off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Raquel. I live in San Leandro, California. And one thing I would like to see change in my community is definitely affordable housing, like more affordable housing and folks being able to stay in the community and not have to leave. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I'll pass it to Shayara.
Hey everyone, I'm Shayara. I'm gonna talk about the midwifery community. I want to see more Black midwives in the midwifery community. I'm from Oakland. I don't live in Oakland right now or anymore, and there's not a lot of Black midwives where I'm at in Northern California. That's what
I want. Who do you want to pass it to, Shayara?
Cal.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
So my name is Kyle Hudson, and one thing that I would like to see change in my community is the accountability that the Black males have. There's kind of like a shoulder shrug approach, individualism. There's no unity, no one thinking like minds or trying to put that together in my community. So that's what I would like to see happen.
That's powerful. Who do you want to pass it to, brother? You're on mute if you didn't know.
I want to see Million.
Hello,
Million T's.
Yes, it's spelled like million, but it's pronounced million. Thank you.
Real quick, if y'all not talking, go ahead, put yourselves on mute, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, and so I agree with Raquel. I was thinking housing as well, affordable housing, ways to get land, ways to get affordable rent or be able to buy housing, and then related to that is a decrease in homelessness.
Powerful.
Yes, thank you. And I pass it to Zarina.
You got it right. What am I introducing myself with?
Yeah, you're introducing yourself and
okay.
One thing you want to see in your community change.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my name is Zarina, but I go by Z. What I want to see change in the community, I just more peace, help Black folks that's struggling. Maybe like have some haircut services or for the youth.
Okay. Self-care haircut services. That's beautiful. Um,
You
I'm
know,
just,
reading books, maybe help clean up youth, the youth the development.
okay.
Mhm.
Who you want to pass it to?
To Kingdom.
Oh, yo,
Peace,
Grand
peace.
Rising, everybody. Just taking notes. What I would like to see is that in the Black community that we start to appreciate our health as wealth. We work crazy hours on the job, 40 hours a week. Put 40 minutes into your health. Do some workouts, go for a walk. So I'd like to see
Mhm.
that transition in the Black community.
That's good for
And
the mental. My bad. Excuse me.
oh no, no, yeah, no, on point.
Are we allowed? We
Yeah.
allowed to do our inputs, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let's keep it to a minimum, though.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's okay if you feel moved to say something. Yeah.
And I'll pass it to Joyous.
Hi, it's Joyous. I'm in Oakland. One thing I say that I like to see change or different in the community is people actually growing their own food in their front of our backyards, making community gardens more accessible. And I don't know who hasn't gone yet. So,
Natalie, it's
Natalie?
on you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Natalie. I'm coming in from Baltimore. What I would love to see change around in this city is our corruption of our government and our police. And then also our murder rates are just through the roof. And I'll pass it to Mama Mia.
Thank you, Natalie, and I can recognize that. What I like, Mama Mia, they call me, and I'm here in Oakland. And what I'd like to see is like if our community was like cleaner, like more care of the community. It would be nice, just feel more restful. And you want to finish us out, Ajman?
Yes. For me, I would say my name is Ajman, Oakland as well. I would say that I would want to see more interest in financial education and more exposure and more interest to financial education and mentorship of financial education for youth. Basics like taxes, how to balance a checkbook, how to avoid credit, unnecessary credit, how to build your credit score, like adulting before you're an adult, basic stuff, but also like more advanced stuff like like crypto, like stocks and, susus, different things that we've done in the past to help each other out. And just, yeah, more financial education. So, yeah, so there was a reason why I started off with that question, right? I want to pull from Jackson Rising real quick. I didn't say it was required for y'all to get this book, right? So if you don't have it, it's all good. But again, Jackson Rising. Oh, can y'all see that? Sorry, my filter is kind of weird. Sorry, y'all. I'll take it off in a second. But Jackson Rising is basically a book about Mississippi. Jackson, Co-op Jackson in Mississippi. They started a cooperative, but they did a lot of planning first, and they were able to get people into office, city council and mayor. They actually formed a multiracial movement. Blacks and whites and Latinos voted for um, this mayor that they put in the office, Chokwe Lumumba, and he was very pro-black, worked as a lawyer, did a lot of work in the community beforehand. So that all came from banding together, figuring out what the needs were, forming people assemblies, right, we just did a minor one right here. We all voice what we see in our communities that need to be changed, and then they go a little bit deeper in and maybe suggesting solutions based on what they see and referring to those who are a little more learned in different areas, right? You have to consult. Like if I don't know finances, I'm going to consult a CPA. If I don't know law, I'm going to consult a lawyer. So very educated people contributed to this. They work with the Malcolm X grassroots organization. So I pull from this book sparingly throughout the weeks because I really feel like it sets the tone for a common, or excuse me, a recent example of working together. Now, Jessica Gordon Nimhart's book goes back to slavery and just after slavery and Reconstruction and all very relevant still. But a lot of those papers are not reachable. We can't get some of that knowledge. Like she did a lot of research. This is a textbook we reading basically, but at the same time, she even voices like I can't get all the info, and there is more to get, but you can only go so far. So it's really good to look, at what you can see. So I'll start with the reading. So although Cooperation Jackson is rooted in an ideological framework, vision, and macro strategy, it is not a static organization. Like any dynamic organization, we do our best to center our practice on addressing the concrete conditions of our space, time, and conditions, and to align our theory with our practice. As such, our program and strategy are constantly adapting and evolving to address new challenges and seize new opportunities, and it will continue to do so. In pursuits. The fundamental program and strategy of Cooperation Jackson is intended to accomplish four fundamental ends. One, to place the ownership and control over the primary means of production directly in the hands of the Black working class of Jackson. Two, to build and advance the development of the ecologically regenerative forces of production in Jackson, Mississippi. Three, to democratically transform the political economy of the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and southeastern region. And four, to advance the aims and objectives of the Jackson Kush Plan, which are to attain self-determination for people of African descent and the radical democratic transformation of the state of Mississippi, which we see as a prelude to the radical decolonization and transformation of the United States itself. So they were very clear about, what they were aiming for. They had referenced their plan, the Jackson Kush Plan, which we'll get into later in the weeks. They acknowledged ownership. They were very clear about their demographic. And, as you'll see, even though they were clear about their demographic, like, we are focusing on, Black working class of Jackson, right? Later in the book, you'll see that they worked across lines, and created allies. And, basically they created a unity with other segments of the city that recognize similar needs, right? So that's important. We recognize our needs. We are vocal about our needs. We say it so folks know where we're coming from. And then there could be alliances built or lines drawn. We're not on the same team, so it's good to know these things. So now we can get back into the main book, right? Collective Courage, 141. I'm sorry, 241 at the end. So we'll start at 1918. Du Bois founds the short-lived Negro Cooperative Guild, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, originally formed in Jamaica in 1914 as a mutual benefit and reform association focused on uplifting the race, is incorporated in New York. It becomes one of the largest mass movements in African American history, promoting Black-owned grassroots joint stock companies. We'll learn about those later, like the Black Star Line and clothing factories. Cooperative League of America, President James Warbass publishes The Theory of Cooperation, and A. Philip Randolph publishes The Cooperative Movement Among Negroes. So, I mean, in 1918, things was active, right? We got Du Bois, starting his own organization, a cooperative guild, right? Like a league of cooperatives. That sounds like super Marvel-esque or something. You know what I'm saying? The League of Cooperatives. The Universal Negro Improvement Association, you know, that's Marcus Garvey right there, you know. And then we have the NAACP talking about cooperatives. I didn't really know they were, you know, involved in cooperatives as much. So that's good to know because NAACP doesn't seem as active these days sometimes, but maybe that's just in our city. I'm sure they're active in other places. A. Philip Randolph publishes the cooperative movement among Negroes. A. Philip Randolph was a big inspiration to MLK. So when you have the March on Washington, these are ideas that were inspired by A. Philip Randolph, who was a very active community member, worked with the the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, and was a prolific writer. So it's always good to know where these ideas come from because of course we celebrate MLK and all that he accomplished and did, but everyone has a teacher. Everyone has people that they draw inspiration from. I'm an artist. I'm an MC. I draw inspiration from many people. So let's keep going. 242. 1919, Citizens Cooperative Stores, an African American cooperative meat market in Memphis, owns 5 co-op stores serving 75,000 people. That's big time. The Harlem Pioneer Cooperative Society opens a small grocery store in Harlem, New York City. I love that, you know, a lot of cooperatives start as grocery stores. I feel like living in Oakland, you know, food deserts are synonymous almost, you know, and we have seen some change. You know, Mandela Grocery has been around for a few years now. We have the Deep Grocery Co-op that's building momentum. So the narrative is slowly but surely changing. But food deserts are still common. You know, I grew up East Oakland near High Street and Mac, right? So right on the edge where, you know, it's if you go a little too far east, it's not really too much going on. You go a little to the left, you got Laurel, you know, you got the Diamond District. You can go over there and get you some Safeway, some Farmer Joe's. We got 2 Farmer Joe's within, you know, 3 miles of each other, right? So all I had to do was hop on the 57 or the NL, you know, and get there. You know, for those who know, they know. So I was lucky. My mom didn't have a car, so I realized if we lived deeper in the east, my diet would have been different. Now it wasn't even the best necessarily, but my mom always experimented. You know, I knew about certain vegetables. I liked vegetables as a kid because I got fresh vegetables at times. You know, that was not always a uh, access to some people. You know, canned vegetables was probably more common than not. Of course, I grew up off that too, but I knew the difference. You know what I'm saying? So like little things like that. And then as I got older, I got the food meal like a mile and a half away from where I stayed. Food meal has been around for almost 80 years. I think a little over 80 years. It's a health food store. You know, so I had access to that. I knew about it. I didn't start going until I was like 19, 20, right? When I started getting more aware of health and everything. But these things put you on a trajectory, right? You know, from there, I was able to be exposed to things, and I would go in there and I would meet like black people that worked there, and they would just school me. You know, I remember this one brother, Opwe Samwo. Man, he just came in and blessed me with so many herbs one time. He was like, he hooked me up too. He was like, look, man, I'm gonna hook you up. He put the, you know, the right price on there, you know, just to encourage me to be healthy, and that was very profound for me. So, but it all because proximity, right? It's because I can go there. It's less than an hour away. You know, it would take an hour because I gotta wait for the bus. Go. It would take about 10 minutes to get there. Get what I gotta get. Wait for the bus again and get back. Right. So that's a good part of your day. If you don't have a car, an hour is, you know, hour to 2 hours. That's pretty much how much it would take. So these things matter, right? So let's keep going. Just to give you perspective, though, right? I resonate with grocery stores. We need more of them. With quality food, though. The Negro
I
World
just had
Report.
to,
Oh, go
oh, I
ahead.
was jumping in. Opwe Samwu, he also schooled me and my family on. I'm wondering how many people he touched. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I didn't even know
Yeah.
anybody else knew him. I just had to shout him out. And look,
Yes.
his name rings bells in the community.
Yes, that's the man right there.
Man, it's so profound, you know. And now I put my people on, you know. I try to, you know, oh, you getting sick? Here's some oregano oil, you know. That actually my grandma put me on that, but I was able to get it from the food mill. You feel me? Collagen. What, you know? I didn't know what collagen was. I didn't know what vitamin B. How that changed my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gave me that extra boost of energy and, you know, like different things like that. Just like vitamins. Like you hear about them or whatever, but like these are things that could actually really supplement your life. Chlorophyll, alkaline water. Man, the list goes on. Even the little snacks that they would have in there, like just high quality snacks with that aren't super high fructose syrup. You know, you can still get your sweet tooth on. Like all of these things matter, yo. All right, 1922. The National Federation of Colored Farmers is formed in Chicago. I wonder how many food deserts are in Chicago. We got any representatives from the Chi-Town in here? Um, Man, Chicago, I know it's always highlighted for its violence and everything. There's so many black people out there. I'm sure there's a lot of inequality going on, and I would like to hear about what's going on out there in Chi-Town. Students in the commercial department at the Bluefield Colored Institute in West Virginia manage a co-op supply store. Profits fund scholarships for students to pursue higher education. The Cooperative Society of Bluefield Color Institute joins CLUSA. In 1926, members of the Bluefield Cooperative become the first African Americans to attend the National Cooperative Conference in Minneapolis. Um, you know, to pick up on what Z was talking about as far as, you know, mentorship and youth development, you know, I think it's important that we expose these concepts of cooperative work to youth. You know, like we talk about basic things like sharing and being kind, right? Like to young kids, but like these are basics for business as well, you know, and basics for sustaining a society, sustaining a community. So, you know, to move from like, okay, yeah, share your toys, all of that, but no, share your resources. Like, how do we, you know, continue that trajectory? Like, how profound would that be? I wasn't exposed to these thoughts, you know, at a young age, and so I can imagine, you know, high school I started to be. I can imagine how that would have maybe shifted my trajectory a little bit, you know. Um, does anybody have experience with like learning about this type of thinking, cooperative work and cooperative economics at a young age, like pre-high school? And if so, like who taught you? See? See, these are things that we gotta pick up the mantle on, or pick up the fire and share it. Let me see if somebody put something in the chat. Um, mm, Natalie said no, it was all about competing. Capitalism, right? Capitalism. And that's, oh, reading these books, Collective Courage and Jackson Rising, brings you right in front of your truth when it comes to capitalism and, you know, socialism and, you know, just these isms and these philosophies and ways of operating. Like, how do I really feel about it, right? Because I enjoy capitalism. I can't deny it to a degree. I enjoy being a consumer. I enjoy being able to have all of these things that I could interact with. But what is it doing to my mind? What is it doing to my connections to people? You know, Shiara says businesses were not even mentioned. Wow. Raquel says econ class. Yep, all competition, all supply and demand, right? Um, yeah. So all of these examples, like I love that we're starting here because it's just like bam, 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 bam. All of these cooperatives were happening. People were thinking about, and it was out of necessity a lot of the time too, right? Like, and unfortunately, we're kind of in those times again in a different way. We're living a lot better than a lot of our predecessors, but think about it, like inflation is just been creeping up consistently, you know, since we went off the gold standard in the late 1970s, right? I think it was Reagan that took us off If it wasn't Reagan, it was another president. My bad if I did that wrong. But basically, they took us off the gold standard, and since then, the dollar has been just printed over and over and over and over. And this COVID pandemic, it was hastened, and so now we're dealing with more issues that come with that. So I think cooperative thinking, pooling money, resources, I think could be a saving grace for a lot of our communities. And I think we have yet to really see the full brunt of it, but it's happening. Like, we go to the store, I'm seeing prices creep up. Uh, let me see. Oh, Brother Tuss said gang mentality has some elements of cooperativism, but the lack of self-knowledge and leads to self-destruction. It's powerful. And when you think about it, a lot of the gangs were started out of necessity too, because they had to protect themselves. They had the common need of, we're not going to get bullied by the racists that want to see our race end, the KKK, the folks that don't want us living in their communities. So a lot of these gangs, like the Crips, started as society, community helpers, community servants, and then it got misguided. And so, and we'll see that too in this book. We'll see more examples of intentional disruption of cooperative work. It's really mind blowing, because you hear, we know what this country is supposed to be in terms of the standard that it's given itself, equality and justice for all. But we see time and time again that the arms of the government a lot of times go against that in many dubious ways. Like, really, y'all went that far? You know what I'm saying? COINTELPRO, huh? Like, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all touched not just the black community, the Native community, the Asian community, radical white community. Like, they went in, caught bodies, and stopped movements from progressing, because it was too much stimulation. There was a lot going on. So we have to realize there are lines in the sand, and it's so we got to recognize what's the common needs, right? The commons is another term that we'll get to. So we're coming up on time, y'all. Any closing thoughts, that anybody might have, that's been burning in them before we go? I know I've been talking a lot, y'all. Okay.
I was gonna say that it talked about the Negro world also in 1923. Didn't Marcus Garvey write that paper?
Mm, Marcus Garvey, very prolific.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I believe so. That does sound familiar. Hey, take it upon yourself and read some of these. Read up on some of these. We'll be going deeper into these, but look at that index and just take a peek, man. All of these stories are very inspiring, very inspiring, because you recognize that they were working with less than we have now. We have the internet, and we're more divided than ever, right? So, arguably, there's a lot of things that are going on that are still happening, that were still happening back then. But I feel like back then it was a lot more intense. But we still have lynchings going on. We still have racial tension. We still have poverty at high rates. So I don't know if much has changed, but a lot has changed at the same time. We're
What
standing on.
this shows me is that there's this narrative that we don't work together, or that people always say that we need to get together, but we are getting together and we are working together. It just needed someone to document it.
You said it. And that's our duty now. Now that someone's documented it, it's our duty to deal with it, work with it. Like,
Add our name to the book.
we don't have no excuse.
Right?
We don't have no excuse. It's been packaged for us. So thank you everybody for sliding through. We'll be back tomorrow. Same black channel, same black time. Thank you, Mama Mia, for being an amazing co-host and giving your perspectives. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right.
Thank you. See y'all tomorrow.
Peace.
Thanks, see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.